Welcome to the Key to Growth podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you are in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success starting now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Key to Growth podcast. I am so excited about our guests today because they happen to be mentors of mine. So I am someone who never tries to do something on my own. I always look for people who have been there and done that, who could potentially help point me the way. And I got connected with one of our guests today, but it's actually a husband and wife duo. So I'm super excited to introduce Karen and JC Hite. I'm going to let Karen start because I said her name first, and that's who I met first in this group.
Here you go. My priority, right? Hey guys, my name is Karen Hite. I am super excited to be, not only because, like the topics that we're going to cover in this call or in this session is going to be like really fun. I think like I love, navigating like the ins and out of business and like how do we have problems and solve them, but also because like I've seen Jen grow so much and how she serves her clients. And I think she's, a total like go-getter. And I just love everything that you do, Jen. So super excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm so excited too. Okay, JC, who are you?
I'm JC. I am the worst half of the Heights, and I love this world of entrepreneurship. It is exciting and thrilling and scary and every emotion you can possibly imagine. And Karen and I have really been focused on, helping businesses scale with stability in their lives, mentally, relationally, spiritually. How do we, navigate this journey? And so it's been really fun. And obviously we're growing our own businesses while we serve others and help others. It's exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So anyone listening to this, that I bring on agency owners, I bring on marketing people, I bring on whoever. And I think like what's super cool about what you guys are doing is y'all do like so much. So just try to tell us, what is your business? Like, how did you get started? I like to say like, how did you get into the home service industry? But y'all do like so much more than that. And you help people in so many different ways. So I don't know how to start that, but yeah, a little background.
We'll turn to like a whole thing. So JC, go.
I'll say what we do now, and then you can go into the background, Karen. So overall, that is our passion, helping businesses scale with stability. And so again, how do we grow our business and stay mentally, physically, spiritually, relationally healthy? Because that's what it takes to drive through businesses really freaking hard. And we do this in 3 areas. So we have our advertising firm, which is our bulk of our, business. That's where we began. And it's a marketing agency, right? We help businesses grow from all standpoints. We later added our education division, which we have a couple of large events, hundreds and hundreds of people come to those, our mastermind as well. And this is where we're educating. We're standing, what is it? Hill to hill, foot to, I don't know, whatever, right there beside the journey of other entrepreneurs, helping them grow, but from an education standpoint. And then the third one, which we've really started hitting heavier on in the last year, and I think will actually end up being our largest area, is our investment side, where we're coming in and we're buying into companies, or we partnering up with them. We try not to buy in full, and we go, okay, let's be on this journey together and let's both win together. And so advertising, education, and investing, all geared towards helping businesses scale with stability.
And I think, with that, a lot of the things that we're doing today are things that we needed when we were first getting started. We needed somebody to like invest time in us. We needed somebody to like show us the path. We needed to have community. So I think like it has been, I know we do a lot of you follow us. We're like, what are these people doing today? Like it's crazy, like that, the way that things go, but it's all things that we see the purpose, and like a lot about commitment in anything that we do, like purpose, like behind things. And that's our main driver, really.
I think something that a lot of home service businesses don't think about as much as marketing agencies do, but it's impacts them as well, is like it's a full marketing funnel, what you guys are building out, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger as you go. And so like, yes, you've added events, but like the events attract people who could ultimately be your customer and all of these other things that you do. And the same with, you have support for marketing agencies, which I mean, like, so is that something that like, how do you, and I feel like Karen, because you work with marketing agencies, this is how I always see you, is you're like, and what about this? Like, how do you add these, other ways for visibility and growing your company. But I mean, I guess talk a little bit on that and like how that can even be as any home service business, how they could start to build that out.
Yeah. Well, we started that initially, when we were in the agency, like we quickly noticed that the people that, we were learning from, they were not doing the thing. And so when we realized that, we were like, okay, we need to like create something then that we can all pitch in and then we go and learn. And I think community is that thing, whether you're in home services or masterminds are only for home services, right? Like they're like your peers, like your competition. But I truly believe that, the saying of competition happens in the bottom and collaboration happens at the top. Like there are things that we do as a digital marketing agency that you don't do, for example, right? And there's things that you do that I do not even want to do because I do not into that, And so like there's a lot of strengths and weaknesses that we have, but I do believe that together, I know this sounds so cliche, but I do think that together, we make it so much more enjoyable. And honestly, in our space, the agency world is so chaotic, it's so volatile. Like, like there's right now it's the disruption of AI, right? Like our whole models are shifting today. I do not want to go through like those really stressful moments in life alone. That's just my pref, right? I rather talk to people that I can cry with, that can pick me up, that understand exactly what I'm talking to. And I do think it's very similar, like husband and wife, when like, if you have like a spouse that is like in the business and the other spouse is not in the business, it's kind of hard to communicate. But when you find somebody, like that's your outlet to be able to do that. I think like that has been our way of creating environments where like that person has an outlet, yet they can bring their families along. So a lot of our events are actually really focused on bringing their spouses, the kids. And I think we just need to have those like opportunities to like be able to like be heard and understood and also like challenged, but like to support it along the way. And so like that's kind of how we started. We actually started our agency as a white label agency. So like we were supporting a lot of the agencies that were really good in sales and they were just getting out there. And we have been really good with like product and operations and building something that's scalable. So that's kind of like how it all started. Honestly, it's my favorite part because that's really what I do. Like I get to talk to agencies every time. And then I'm always like, oh man, we should be doing that. There's always something like, and then I'm giving, like, this is what we're doing, by the way. So like, it's just like, I think the fun part of my day to day.
Yeah. So another thing that you guys are doing, so I think this is interesting that you're working a lot in the roofing industry in the Spanish market, but you're also teaching Go High Level. Is that right? And so benefit, like what are you teaching these companies like on what to use it for?
Yeah. So a lot of these guys, and girls, because there's some like awesome roofer women there as well, which I'm been super excited to connect with. And mainly when they're starting, like they feel like I need to hire somebody, or they're like, it's very similar to what happens in our industry. I think every business, all businesses go through saying we need to get clients, we need to be good at operations, we need to hire amazing people, we need to retain those amazing people, we need to retain clients, have a great experience for them, right? It's the same. It doesn't matter the industry. I think we just make it too complex sometimes. We're like, this is the only niche that we're focusing on, right? But, one thing that we haven't seen in this industry, and especially, when you're getting started, is that you're having to navigate, all things. You're having to be the person that's reaching out, the person that is sending out messages. Like there's no client experience, like when you're first getting started, because like you're the client experience. You are talking to the client. And, if you show yourself with the best attitude, that is the best thing that they get. And so my goal with High Level is just how can we help them navigate? We talk about level for service, right? How do we help them navigate, some of those steps to like help them raise that level of experience that they're giving through a better automation, through a better review system. A lot of these people don't ever get to have reviews in the first years of business because they don't know how to ask for it. They haven't had, they don't have a clue that that is actually important until like they see their competitors like getting more reviews and somebody telling them like, I just went with this other person that seemed to be, doing or know what they're doing. And that is kind of like, it's almost like a little bit too late, when you have those like wow moments. And so like my ideas behind that, and, specifically in the Spanish with roofers, it's just, like I see myself, there, and it's like maybe just like as a Latina reflected in there. And I remember when I first learned about automations and CRMs, and I know it's not the sexiest topic by any means, but I just loved it. And it just like changed my view in life. And then I wanted to automate everything. And then I realized you cannot automate everything. It's like, it's so this assets. Yeah. self-reflected in that. I love to help them like navigate the sales, the client experience, how to organize it. So that way, when they do graduate into another CRM, because sometimes that's the need, right? Like they grow their business so much that their CRMs have a use case for different levels. And so like, I just want to give everybody a great foundation for as they're getting started and growing.
I love Go High Level, but it is complicated if you don't know what you're doing. Oh yeah, you're sure. I know.
I've got
I feel like you're taking notes over there.
I am. I'm just like writing down notes as I'm thinking of them. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, what are you writing? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm actually thinking through as you're talking about events, right? Like with all of our home service folks, right? Like the biggest part about them is getting involved in their communities, right?
Yeah.
And for us, running an event is like, okay, let's bring together someone and teach them something and sell something or not, right? Whatever the case may be. The hope is eventually.
Share value, eventually maybe turn into a customer.
With roofers and plumbers, how do we help them facilitate events? That doesn't make sense. They're going to be teaching roofing, right? Nobody's going to show up,
Yeah.
right? But like,
Yeah.
what are other type of things that they can do to bring people together, right? What are other type of community efforts or fundraisers or golf tournaments? Or like, how do we, again, like what I love about events is that it hits some of these like fundamental boxes of scalability. So in the framework Karen and I have developed, there's 3 pillars that kind of circle the framework. It's motivation, education, and execution. And how that works is that when we're motivated, so let's talk about like, I don't know, the gym, right? You're motivated to go. I'm going to go tomorrow morning. If you go, if you execute, you get more excited, right? Which causes you, hey, man, I want to learn more. And then you desire to execute. And it's like this rotation that starts spinning and it really helps you in business. Okay. The opposite is true as well. If you don't execute, what happens? You feel less motivated. You want to learn less, right? Like it spins the other way. This is why people, when they go on a binge, they like, if you're on a diet, you start eating sweets,
Right.
go nuts with it, right? Like,
Mhm.
and so
That's my problem.
if school events, they curate this, right? Like it brings community together. Okay. So now we get motivated, we get inspired, we build connection, we learn by networking and being around each other, right? And so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, how do we help coordinate events through our clients and bring people to that? So let me give an example. By the way, this is all just fresh thoughts, like hot off the iron. Yeah. My roofing guys, we're spending, $1,000 per client, right? Like we're spending, $40 or $50 per click in bigger cities. And then from that $50, we're going down the funnel. Could I spend $5,000 or $6,000 and bring 200 people together in the community for a cookout, celebrating some nonprofit, some need, some whatever? Would that do more good than the other? I don't know.
Right.
Love events though. There's so
Okay, so there's 2 things I want to add to that. One of them is that I recently saw Gary Vee say this, and I listened to everything he says. I really like Gary Vee, but what he said is like dead on, and it's that as we become more connected digitally, we're gonna crave like in-person connection. So I think that anybody who is looking how to get people together, that is going to increasingly become more valuable, and people are going to continue to pay for opportunities to be with people physically, which is so funny, like coming 5 years out of COVID, right? When it was all of a sudden, like we were forced out of it, not even because of digital, but it still just made it even more valuable. Like you wanted that, like people were like, when are the events coming back? Like, whereas before people were taking advantage of the fact, like that there's so many.
the scientific word on that is like polarity management is what we call it in psychology. And so what we're doing there is that we're balancing those polarities in life. So when you're all in and you're with everyone all the time and you're constantly, you desire to go, okay, I want to go be alone. I want to maybe go rest. When you're all rest, and you're constantly trying to balance these, right? It happens everywhere in business, right? You're balancing, man, I love my team. I want to forgive them. I want them to be, I want to, if they mess up, I'm going to help them through it. I'm going to be encouraging. I'm going to be a loving boss, but also like, I got to demand excellence. I need to punish them when they don't do the right things. And so like, we're always managing these polarities in business, and it's like a seesaw. You're never in the middle. You're always leaning one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. But I also have seen some people do what you're saying. And like I had someone on the podcast early episode and they went after the Frisbee golf community. So I think that was an interesting community choice, but I also think that it was super niche. And so when you find a niche that you already have ties to and you already know people and you already could like create something out of it, because then there's one part of it, right? Where like try to get involved with anyone else's community event that you can. And that's a low ticket entry level, and also an opportunity to get in front of people and get in front of people who are already there, like home shows, or like I went to a sandcastle, thing or whatever, like sandcastle, it was at the beach, but the local plumbing company was one of the sponsors. And so there's always that opportunity to like have a booth and get in front of these people. But having your own event, finding a niche or hobby or whatever it's called that you already care about, and then making it a point to be a part of that community and getting yourself more well known, I think, and like hosting the event, like you said, like calling these people together and hosting it for them is a really cool idea.
Let's take it a step further. A lot of these roofing, plumbing, whatever companies, they've got cool shops. They got
Yeah,
shops,
exactly.
right? What if they took that shop and they moved away the equipment and they put 3 pickleball courts right there in the middle?
Yeah.
And then like every Tuesdays and Thursday nights, they moved the equipment out and just hosted 20, 30. I mean, these guys wouldn't take long at all for, depending on the city size, hundreds of people to be coming for pickleball.
Right.
100% free. You make it a party. Oh, all of those guys are going to know your company really well. And
Yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't work with you when they needed
to
to.
post on Facebook, they're going to be tagging you. Whenever they have a referral, they're going to be tagging you, right? And, I think so often we're trying to like, how do we serve the world? But the reality is, and Gary Vee, back to him, he talks about this, right? 500 people that will just are in love with my brand. Their networks is all I need.
Right. And I think it feels a little slow at the beginning, and that's why it's hard. It's like when you're first like trying to do this like 1-to-1, 1-to-10, it feels slow. But like when people actually get to know your brand and you're the first thought to their mind, which is like the whole point. Like, yes, like you could be the top on Google. And I know that's the point of SEO and Google business and getting reviews and all these things, is to be the top. But like if you don't have to be a choice, if you're just like the decision that they've already made, you don't even have to play that game as hard. Like it doesn't matter, and you start to surpass it. And then even so, you spend less money in marketing because people already know, there's 3 up there. They're going to pick you because they already know you. So
You know what? I want to add, I want to challenge us all in this conversation, because like I feel like as an introvert, like why do people don't do events? We have seen the big pros of doing events. Like, I mean, Jen, you're like in an event a month at least, like you're like every.
I know, but you said you're an introvert, but you do events because it is important for your business.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that you have to do.
Exactly. So like, how do we help somebody navigate, like how do we go through an event, because this seems unnatural to some people, right? I struggle with that. Like just knowing that I was going to like welcome, and like JC is like the ambassador of like, I remember when we hosted our first event in Costa Rica, he was like shaking hands, talking to people, trying to remember names. I'm like, I cannot even remember names sometimes. It's not like people that I actually, I just like I have something that I'm in constant communication. But I think, like the reason why I struggle initially was because I thought I had to do it as somebody else was doing it, right? Like I thought I had to be that person, like shaking hands in the entrance and welcoming everybody in when I needed to come down. So I think like there's something there that if for the people that are listening, like, okay, I am that HVAC, that plumber, that needs to like go into that. Like my recommendation, I think, would be like go in with like the thing that makes you more comfortable, and it doesn't need to be like 100 people event. It can be like that small thing. If you're in a church, like what a great opportunity to get involved in like hosting your home group and just put your house, to like get started. I think there's ways to like ease your way into an event depending on who you are, what comes natural to you. Because I think like that's when people don't do the strategies. That's when you or fail at the things. Say, oh my goodness, like I would have to like transform myself into another human being in order to like take on that strategy. And I think that's something that so many people miss out on doing, and like they're missing out what probably one of the greatest things as we get more and more into AI and more into like this new world that is becoming.
Yeah, but I just had this conversation with my brother, because my brother is also really introverted, but when he's also a high leader in a gas and oil company and has to do a lot of not only leading his team, but also being in front of people that he doesn't know. And it's something that he worked really intentionally at. So I think too, like if it's something that's important, sometimes you have to learn new ways of doing things. And I know he started with How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is like the age-old book of like how to get people to like you. And it's not in this egotistical way. It's truly that some of us really struggle with communicating with other people. And so just learning like skills, it can be learned. Even if you are introverted, you can still respect that part of yourself yourself, but really just learn how to meet new people, what to ask them. People like to talk about themselves. You don't even have to talk. Like if you just get a few questions that you can ask people, that's when people feel really seen and heard. And then, so there's some resources out there.
Well, I think sometimes people look at our, we just had an event, 750 people, $1 million event, right? And some people look at that and like, oh, that's just what they're good at or they're whatever. And people don't understand the backstory of that. Like Karen and I, we didn't go to events, when we first got started near as much. And when we started, it definitely launched our business. But I'll never forget, it was at Traffic and Conversion Summit. We had sponsored them and we had put in like 50 grand to sponsor them and be one of the bigger sponsors. And I'm sitting there with the woman who ran it, Deanna Rogers. And I said there, I was like, Deanna, one day I would love if we could have an event. Like, oh, can you imagine? I was just dreaming because I'm a dreamer. And she's like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, oh, and she's like, okay, when are we going to do it? And I was like, I don't know. When you want to do it? And she was like, July. Let's do it in July. I was like, okay, cool. Where are we going to do it? And like, before I knew it, I signed a contract. Now I wanted.
Okay. That like, not everyone's like that. I mean, I feel like I could probably find myself in that situation.
This podcast says you have a warning.
Before you know it, you're doing an event.
You know it. And here's the deal. Before that event, I had spoken on one stage in my life in front of 100 people. The next event, TCS, which is our recurring event, overseas, that the first couple of years it was in Costa Rica. The next event, we had Damon John, we had Jesse Itzler, we had Willie and Corey Robertson. It was a huge stage for us, right? And so do you think I was comfortable? Like, heck no. You think I was nervous? I was sick to my stomach. Like the reason, Karen, I was going around shaking people's hands because I didn't want to think about me being on stage. And that was what was distracting myself.
Yeah.
And we know it is proven over and over and over again that building communities and bringing people together is the number one way to sell. Now, you can call it network is your net worth. Cool. That's just another way of saying like bringing communities together, bringing people together, right? You can say virtual, you can say in person, you can say big, it doesn't matter, but it's these opportunities to come together. You just got to take the leap and you got to jump and you got to trust and make it happen. And so there's a lot of different frameworks that we've used there. And Karen can talk about the different styles, that we've done, but there's so many options. And I just want to encourage anyone listening, like find a way to host an event, be a part of an event, lead an event, sponsor in a big way an event, but like get involved in those suckers.
Yeah. And you said something. I was just thinking I should have been taking my own notes.
Do those suckers. Yes.
So we've done workshops where we're teaching, right? And you can do this in your community. Like, oh, well, no one wants to learn roofing. Well, find something else. And I love this. Lowe's does something. Okay, here's something interesting in another take. One of home services, one of the biggest things home service folks are struggling with is hiring and recruiting people.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, do you know what Home Depot's strategy for recruiting is? Do you know what they do?
No.
How they recruit people? Have you ever been to a Home Depot and they have these like workshops going on where you come in to build a birdhouse?
Yeah.
Okay, that is their recruitment strategy. So what they do is every week, every couple of weeks, they'll have like a birdhouse building workshop. It's 100% free. Bring your kid, bring your deal. So all these folks come, like grandparents bring their grandkid, all this stuff. They are literally recruiters are walking around going, who is the best at teaching the kids? Who is the best at who had fun with it? Who made it exciting? What they then do is they take those people and say, hey, Jen, you did really great at this. Would you want to like come back and lead one of the workshops sometime? Then the next phase of that is a recruitment process.
Yeah.
Right. And so for home service, like what are things you can do if you're trying to recruit or build community? Like workshops are really great. You're teaching a thing. It doesn't matter what you teach them. You're really just building community, right?
Yeah.
We have intensives. Intensives normally for us is like, it's like 3 days locked in an Airbnb, 4 of us together, masterminding. This would be great. If I was a home service folk, I would bring, hey, my favorite plumber, my favorite electrician, my favorite roofer, my favorite contractor. Hey guys, we're all trying to grow our business. I want to go to Branson for 2 days, lock ourselves on how can we work together? What can we do more of? How are we not strategizing together? So it's now a networking, type situation, right? And then of course we've got the events and the bigger as they get, right? But those are just a few examples of stuff that I would do if I was in the space.
Also, I've seen, so before COVID even, I worked with a auto repair company, and one of the things they were starting, and I don't know if they kept on it, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like, so you said, like you had your event, the next one was Damon John. In your community, it might not go that fast. Like it might be a little bit slower. It's more like continuing to bring people together, because one of the things that they wanted to do was for women, and I've heard multiple, especially women owners say this, to like show them what they don't know, so in that instance, it's like things about your car, your battery, your oil, like just little things that they might not know. And you can do that as a plumber. You can do that in HVAC HVAC, and so thinking about bringing them all together, and it's like, it could be for high school kids. And you see this a lot where they go for like career day in high school, but why not go to the home economics class, or why not go to, these classes where you can teach them a little bit more, or have them on a field trip, and then I've also seen it where they host events like Easter egg hunts, or, like yearly, and those get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like we worked with someone a few years ago and they had an Easter egg hunt that I think was like 300 or 400 people, and they had great prizes in it. Another home service owner I know does a women's event. And so it's like for business owners. But I mean, why not connect with the other business owners in your community? Those are all people who know a ton of people. And so if you're the person that they know for plumbing or for HVAC, now you've got someone who's connected to their, 200 clients or customers, or, 1,000 customers or whatever. So there's just like a lot of opportunities, like you said, to collaborate with other business owners and to create events. And like, it might look a little bit different than an event where you're hosting people nationally, but there's still so much opportunity. And you're right, like connecting and collaborating with people who already have bigger events. Like there's someone who was on the podcast in one of the first episodes. They were able to sponsor their country summer series or whatever with the local radio station, which is such a cool opportunity, and to be like that lead sponsor.
Yeah. I actually recently joined a virtual community that a female roofer is hosting. And she invited like just females in general and like from different towns. And I thought it was really cool because like her first session was on branding, like as a roofer, you would think like, oh, like she would talk about like, and she does have like other roofers in there. She does have all their like industries in there. But I thought that was very interesting because it's the thing that she had been implementing for her business to like get it to the next level. And she just like wanted to share from her perspective. So like you don't have to be a digital marketing agency to talk about a topic, that you are focusing on or that you need. And so like there's so many ways of doing that. And like, yeah, like what would come more natural to you to be able to speak on that, because that's your genius. That's something that you should continue to highlight instead of trying to like now become an AI expert, to be able to talk about something to people. Like it's more about taking action, probably. I mean, it always is about taking action. Every day. Yeah.
For sure. JC, did you have something to add on that?
No, she nailed it.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, we've come to the end of our time here. And before we go, I always ask everybody the same question, which is, you're on the Key to Growth podcast. So the question is, what is the key to growth?
Karen?
You go first.
We've been talking about it. I mean, it's your network and building relationships and meaningful relationships. And I think that's going to become more and more and more valuable as you build those relationships. The question is, how do you just add value? We keep mentioning Gary Vee, right? His whole book, Jab, Jab, Right Hook, is all about just give, add value, create opportunities, connect. Just how can you serve your community? And when the time comes, they will refer you, they will hire you, they will recommend you, and they will give you great reviews even when you don't know it.
Absolutely.
I think for me, it's something similar, but we're always in this like train of thought that we need to get more leads. Like that's normally what happens with marketing, at least. That's what we need more leads, more people to talk to, like more contacts. And I was reading this book that talked about like, you already know all the people that you need to know to grow your business. Like you already have it. You don't need more leads for that. I know that's counterintuitive because we're a digital marketing agency, so continue to get leads. You still need leads. But what I'm trying to say with that is like, I think the depth of the relationships that we have is even more important sometimes than like having like more leads coming in and like fresh, people to know about you. Because in that, if you really focus on building that depth, whether it's with your clients, whether it's your like prospects that you're building, and just like making sure that you go like so many touches, with them before you say, oh, okay, like that wasn't a lead. I think that's what really changes dramatically, where your business is going. Today, when we're doing events, we don't try to like get new people into our events. We already know and you have a massive list of contacts that if we focus on develop those relationships, not only will they want to come to the events, right? But we will also find better ways to serve them and understand them in a better way. So like our product and offer, is even more enticing. So just focusing deeply on relationships. I think that has been a key for us as well.
I love it. So good. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Super insightful. And I hope that everyone's a little bit more inspired, at least to get involved in your community in some way, if not creating some sort of event. It's going to happen.
I need a contract.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.